Hey everyone, Mr. Anderson here with you doing some late night tea on a Saturday, going over Bitcoin's latest price action. We are currently on the daily chart, and I have the auto Elliott wave and the pattern recognition indicator on showing a bull flag. So I have February 6th, 2024, marked by this vertical line. And as you can see, we immediately had a parabolic rise, which became the stem of the bull flag, and now we're in a period of consolidation. Now, looking at the auto Elliott wave, you can see that it's in confluence with the potential price target of the bull flag, which is between around $106 and $107,000, with a conservative price target of 80, which is probably where I think we can attain if we get some positive money flow and momentum, with a mid target range in the 93K area. Now, as we zoom in here, you can see that I have the fib chart where we peaked out at 73K, and we have our retracement areas where you can dollar cost average or potentially get in if you don't have a spot bag already, or however you trade and invest. But the good thing is that we did test the 0.382 at about 60,000, which confirms a retracement. And I think in a parabolic bull run, that counts as a retracement. And hopefully we can rebound from our current downtrend and continue completing the bull flag price target. Now, as you zoom in here, you can see that the golden pocket between 0.618 and 0.65 is influenced with an area of demand. If we do break down and we lose our momentum, pretty much south of 60K, the next price target is going to be in the 52K area. Now, I don't think that's going to happen. I think there has to be a lot of poor fundamental macroeconomic news for that to occur. But we also are potentially entering into a recession, and even worse, potentially stagflation. So stagflation is probably the worst outcome that we could enter into the third and fourth quarter of this year. And that's the only reason why I think that could destroy this pattern and bring us to the 52K area. If it is a confirmed recession, we're going to go lower. Bitcoin is still a risk asset and generally runs with tech in the NASDAQ and TradFi. So that's just something to be aware of. But for the current price action, you can see that we formed a wedge pattern, which we dumped out of, formed a parallel upward channel, which we dumped out of, and then confirmed as a resistance. And now we're forming this new parallel down channel, which it looks like we broke out of, but as you zoom in, you see that we have not confirmed. So we have punched through this. In about the last 20 minutes or so, this was actually a wick, and we were still in resistance, but now we've jumped up above that, so that's a good sign. We currently have about an hour and 15 minutes left of this 4-hour candle. So if we can confirm out of this, and then the next wick confirms this as resistance, I'd like to see some consolidation. We could potentially still come back down to the supply zone near this localized point of control. And maybe we can create a double bottom here, and then we can continue up. Now, it's important after this large period of consolidation within this bull flag that we actually start to jump out of it to the upside. Because if we don't, we're just going to continue this consolidation. The pattern is not going to stay tight, and we're going to lose that momentum. Traders aren't going to recognize it, and we're probably going to have to look at some other patterns that form. And that's the great thing about this all chart patterns indicator is that while we do have a bull flag, we also have some other patterns within here, albeit not very strong in my opinion, except for this rising wedge, which we did complete, that are forming. And those also will have some influence when you're doing your TA. So we do have this double top, but it's very weak as far as its pattern formation. But if you look in here, we did complete a rising wedge. And then we had a descending wedge, which we came about 2/3 down for the rising wedge target price, and we came about 2/3 for the descending or the falling wedge. So that's just, it's something interesting to note. We then formed another rising wedge, which was not identified by the auto pattern, and we did come about 2/3 to what would have been its potential price target. So that's something interesting to take a look at when you're looking at a chart and trying to identify what patterns are having influence on the price. So as we go down to the 1 hour, we can get some better detail of what is going on. And what I like to do is I like to turn off the simple moving averages, and I like to turn on my exponential moving averages and take a look at our oscillators. So it looks like we have positive momentum. We're probably getting a little bit overbought here on this stochastic RSI. We're about above, we are above 50 on both the MFI and the RSI, and that's a good sign. We have rising momentum on the MACD. And looking at market cipher, we do have a large momentum up wave to the upside. Now it looks like it's probably about to peak out here above the 60 mark here, denoted by a white line. So we're probably going to print a sell dot here in probably the next few hours, probably about 2 o'clock in the morning or so. And we're probably going to come back down and retest this demand zone and probably confirm this as resistance, and that would end that downward channel as far as the 1 hour trend. So that's what I am predicting over the next few hours when it comes to Bitcoin. Turn off the yellow wave here and take a look. Get rid of our little drawings here. So now it's not as busy. But what we can see here is we had some opportunities for a short. And we have the 50 exponential moving average along with the 200-day moving average. We had a bearish cross. So we dumped, retested, and now we have a sell dot, albeit not a very convincing momentum wave to the downside. There's not a lot of power in this, but you could have taken a short here. Take our short position indicator. So again, we dumped, had a bearish cross on the 50 and 200-day exponential moving average, retested the 50 and 200-day exponential moving averages, and now we have a red dot momentum wave. So we would enter here. Stop loss would be at the peak of this wick, and we would do a 1.5 risk to reward, and that would have netted us a healthy 1.7%. And using an exchange like Bitfinex or whatever exchange you have access to with leverage, that would give you a pretty healthy profit. So that's just something to think about. and you could have held it longer if you wanted to. You could do a potentially a 2-to-1 risk to reward ratio. But again, you're increasing your risk. It would have been successful here. It would have been in confluence with this demand zone and localized port of control. So you have some extra indicators to give you the probability that you could reach down to that level. But as you can see, it is now rejecting, and we are now potentially going to reverse this exponential moving average, do another probably do a golden cross here, and hopefully continue the upside if you have any spot longs like I do. So that was the current TA for Bitcoin. If you have any questions or thoughts or other coins you'd like me to look at, just let me know. I hope you have a great night, and thanks. Bye.